right, Coach, let's just talk about this past week. You come out strong in the second half, keep them scoreless. How did you feel like your team performed, especially in that second half?
Well, I was very proud of our young men because everything that we talked about in the course of the week ended up transpiring. I mean, we knew it was going to be a 60-minute football game. We knew there was going to be times in the game where there's going to be swings and changes of momentum. My hat's off to Prairie View. I mean, we knew they were very athletic. You could tell that on video, and there were going to be times we told our guys, hey, we're going to look really bad because they got great athleticism. They're very well coached. But, you know, I think Bubba's just done an unbelievable job with those guys. And so our kids were prepared for that, and we just stayed the course. Even the first 2 weeks of this season, that's probably been one of the things I've been the most proud of, is just how we've responded to those changes of momentum. We didn't let our low get too low. We just kept playing the next play. And then, you know, you get inside the red zone 3 times and you score 3 touchdowns. That's 100% of the available points, and that's winning football. And so we did what we had to do at that proper time of the game to win.
2 weeks into the season, you've outscored your opponents 21-0 in the second half. I don't imagine that's by any mistake. Looking at what you guys are doing during the halftime break, what adjustments are being made?
Well, we try to make those adjustments throughout the course of the game. I don't think you can wait until halftime. I think we reinforce those adjustments at halftime, and just step back and kind of look at, hey, we may, you know, tweak the plan here or there, but there's not anything major. It's just reinforcing, hey, where we're headed in the second half. And I think it also speaks to, again, I think it's hats off to our strength and conditioning staff. I mean, Corey and his group, man, they do an unbelievable job with our players. They've positioned ourselves. Our kids have great confidence in their training, and just staying the course and being able to maintain a mental focus throughout the course of 4 quarters is obviously hats off to our players.
This weekend's matchup, Power 5 conference opponents. I know you're very familiar with that, but some of these players, this may be the first time they get to experience that kind of environment. How do you get them ready for that kind of matchup?
Same way we have the first 2 weeks. I mean, our focus has really been on us, and it's going to be no different this week. We're going to continue to focus on things that it takes to win. Then all of a sudden you position yourself to win. We're going to prepare, continue to raise our level of preparation each and every day, and if we'll continue to do that, then we're going to be fine. I think to going into that stadium, the field's still 120 yards long. Goalpost these in 53 1/3 yards wide. I think if you get caught up in all the, you know, hey, it's an SEC environment and everything, then you can become a little bit big-eyed. At the end of the day, it's a football game going on between those lines, and if we can maintain that focus on improvement, continuing to show improvement, it all takes care of itself. But, you know, and also enjoy the moment. I mean, you're getting to play against, like you say, a Power 5 opponent. Man, what a great opportunity. I mean, to be able to showcase your skill against a great team, great coaches, kind of shows you where we are as a program.
So Maverick didn't have the best first half. Do you think that that's from lack of experience of playing, or just something that just happened?
You know what? I think their athleticism in the back end. I mean, I was very impressed with all their defensive backs, and I was going into the game. I knew that wasn't a surprise, and I think, you know, I always look at us first, you know, coaches, and instead I don't point fingers at players, you know. I think I look at, okay, did we position our players to set them up for success? That's why, I mean, we say, because, I mean, I've been asked, why didn't you pull the quarterback? I mean, because we believe in the quarterback. We believe in our team. We believe in each other. And I think, you know, we have to look at ourselves first as coaches and go, okay, hey, do we position ourselves to set these young men up for success? You know, it was a little bit of, I thought, maybe got a little bit in a hurry a couple of times and forced some throws. Sometimes you can have too much confidence in your ability and try to force throws into tighter windows or whatever. And again, you got to give the opponent credit. Sometimes they made some really good plays, and my hat's off to them.
You hit some history books this week with the 2D1 wins, just overall getting that in program history, getting to be 2-0, 1 and 3, and getting to get those 2 wins against D1 schools. How does that feel?
You know, I didn't know that until you just told me. So I don't really focus on that much. I mean, I just try, we really, and I know it sounds like coach speak, but we really do try to focus on winning every day. And I mean, just win the day. I mean, control what we can control, and all that stuff will just be a byproduct. We really don't spend a lot of time. I can tell you this, we have not talked about in any of my team meetings the first 2 weeks, we've not even talked about the opponent. All we've talked about is us, and here's the keys to victory. Here's what we can control. And we're going to do that the first 5 weeks of the season. And then once we get into where it starts conference play, we're really, truly focusing on us and what we can do, and the struggles within each individual and each side of the football. When I say that, I mean it. That's what we're doing. We're truly focusing on who we are and what we're wanting to become, and take care of the things to position yourself to win and expecting to win, and that's critical.
Saw a lot of boots and crutches and scooters everywhere along the sidelines this past weekend. One thing I wanted to point out was Anthony on the sideline, your running back. How did you fill in that gap? And it worked.
Yeah.
Won. So how do you fill in that gap, and how does that play into this week with all those injuries?
Well, football's a tough sport, and yeah, obviously it's for tough people, and the injuries are just part of the game. And yeah, I mentioned this, I believe, in last week's press conference. You have to have just a next man up mentality. As you saw, we played 4 different running backs, and then we just kind of rode the one that was, had the hot hand. And I thought Jeremiah came in and really played really well. I mean, had nearly 70 yards rushing, and so I was very proud of him stepping up. And again, it's just part of it, and I think it creates depth throughout the course of the season. And like I say, they're just that time of year. You're heading into week 3 of the season. You've been through a physical fall camp, and then the first, couple of weeks, and those things start adding up a little bit. Hopefully we'll be able to get these guys back soon and get them back out on the field. And when we do, I think we're going to be a better team just because of the depth that we're going to create.
Okay, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a sidebar and not talk about this last week. So I want to talk about Tamasha Davis a little bit. So first off, I want you to, can you tell me a little about what it's like for Tamasha to be on the roster, be in the locker room? What sort of energy does he bring?
Well, what is really interesting, obviously I wasn't here whenever Samaje experienced, the tragic accident that he went through, and just, we had him share his story with our team when we came back from Camp T on a Sunday morning. It was a very moving experience and great opportunity for him, because we have people on our roster that wasn't here. So for them to be able to familiarize themselves with his story and that's why I talk about all the time, there's no adversity in football. There's not. You hear coaches talk about it all the time. Oh, we overcame some adversity. No, there's changes in momentum. There's highs and lows and swings. So what we're doing, we're saying this is adversity. This is real life adversity here that a young man is overcoming. And he's an inspiration to our team just because of first of all, the type of person he is. He is an incredible human being, forgiving. I mean, he's supportive, and really, it's really interesting because he'll walk up to me and he'll talk about route concepts during the course of practice. He'll evaluate players for me and kind of tell me what his thoughts are. So just to see the progress, and you take Luke Lancaster, I mean, and what he's done with Samaje in the weight room, and the things that it's just inspires all of us that, hey, football is still a game, and it's supposed to be fun, and enjoy it while you can, because you never know how long it's going to last, and it can be taken away from you, in the blink of an eye. So I think Samaje, I think he just embodies all that. To watch him come out on that field, knowing that he's not able to play, but he comes to every single practice, and he's out there encouraging his teammates, and he's out there just by him being there, he inspires all of us to be our best version of ourselves.
Well, that about covers all my questions.
Cool.
couple for me here, Coach. You talk about momentum plays on special teams. 2 weeks in a row, Dustin Ennis, he comes up with downs a ball on the 1 yard line for you. It seemed like it was a play that shifted the momentum of the game a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, anytime you got to make someone drive 99 yards, I mean, that was a huge play. Great punt, first of all, by Logan. I mean, exactly the way we try to draw it up, and we work on it constantly, what we call hang 10 punt. And, man, it was just executed absolutely. You couldn't do it any better. So it began with the execution of the protection up front, and then a great punt, and then great effort on Dustin's part. Hats off to him. I mean, and had a huge play going the same direction in week 1. So very proud of Dustin and what he's done. And that was, if you really look at football and pay close attention, most plays, a lot of impact plays, a lot of change of momentum plays come through special teams.
Earlier this morning, Tyron Bradley's named the WAC Defensive Player of the Week. That's kind of the first one of the year for your team, but as a defensive coach, tell me what that means and how big Tyron was for you Saturday.
Well, the thing that I'm most proud of Tyron is the development that he's made personally from the day that I've gotten here to where he is now as a person and what he's done. He's been blessed with tremendous God-given ability. Sky's the limit for him from a talent standpoint. It's obviously, to me, those are always team awards. Yes, he did a lot of things from 10 tackles, 2 TFLs, a quarterback hurry. He was very active, and the thing that I just loved about how he's handling himself now. I mean, he is really focusing on becoming the best version of himself that he can, and I've seen so much growth with him, and he's just going to continue to get better. I'm very proud of that, and obviously it's an honor anytime that you can be recognized through a national award, or whether it be through the conference or whatever. That's very impressive.
Coach, you're 2-0, which means you've had 2 opportunities to celebrate in the locker room. Do you feel like those dance moves have improved since you got here?
I think I didn't like the gritty this week. I think I felt a little stiff. The turf kind of tightens up my lower back. I didn't feel real good about that.
Until, well, maybe next time.